Fox Sports 910, Benjamin Garcia doing the filling in duties today for my guy Jody Ayler, who is out. We'll be back next Monday. Happy early 4th of July. Hope it's safe. Hope you come back to work with all of your fingers still intact. That is a joke. Maybe not a great one because we know that there's firework accidents every year. I'm still pro fireworks. Jody, he said, you might see some fireworks, might not. There is nothing to me that says freedom more than fireworks on the 4th of July. I'm ecstatic. It's one of my favorite holidays. But before we get there, before I get senioritis, before I start looking at the clock, which I never do, that's why sometimes I go over, we got to talk some more. We got to get some more things in our radar of the Arizona sports landscape. And one guy that we haven't talked about enough is Jonathan Gannon. People always ask me, you are really high on the Cardinals. Is it just being biased? Is it unfound faith for the Arizona Cardinals? I say no. It's not the players. It's not anything else. It's not the talent. It's the culture and stability that Jonathan Gannon has brought to this Cardinals team. Like 70% of my belief in the Arizona Cardinals this year is in one guy, Jonathan Gannon, who I was not a huge fan of when the Cardinals hired him. Thought it was a bad hire. I think it's important to be honest. I thought it was. But through a year and 4 months, 5 months, Jonathan Gannon has done everything and more to change this culture and roster of the Arizona Cardinals. Monty Ossenfort as well. But I'm just going to zero in more so on the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Last week we talked, Pete Prisco ranked 100 players in the NFL. On this ranking of 100 players of CBS Sports, Pete Prisco, only one of them were in Arizona Cardinals. And when you think about it, you're like, well, Kyler Murray maybe. Who's the one lone guy on this list? Kyler Murray, maybe not. Budda Baker, he's a Pro Bowler last year. Jalen Thompson, maybe. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been a lot of buzz of him. The lone Cardinal, you'll say, oh, duh. Of course it's him. Trey McBride. The lone Cardinal on this 100 players ranked in the NFL, according to CBS Sports, Pete Prisco. So it begs the question, if I'm so bullish that the Arizona Cardinals are going to make the playoffs this year, are going to win 8 or 9 games, anywhere in that scenario, I just don't see them as dysfunctional. If I really believe that, how does this team not have more than one player in the NFL's top 100, according to one guy? And my answer to that, like I said earlier, is very simply Jonathan Gannon and the culture he has built for this Arizona Cardinals team. You can't even be late anymore to meetings. You get in trouble. There's real accountability. Jonathan Gannon has changed the structure of this Arizona Cardinals team. He just has. So as much as I believe in Kyler Murray or Trey McBride or whoever it is, it all falls apart if the head of the snake, the head coach, doesn't fall in line and has real accountability and, say it with me, something Cliff Kingsbury never had, leadership. Leadership. Jonathan Gannon possesses that. I can hear it now. Stars, Ben. That's what matters. Stars in the NFL are what rule everything. Do they? Yeah. What's more important than stars? Well, maybe coaching, maybe accountability, maybe leadership, maybe a foundation of winning. And look at the Cowboys. Multiple All-Pros, successful team. How did that playoff wild card game go? Well, then that's just one example, Ben. Just one example of one team with a lot of star power that didn't work out. Okay, guess the Philadelphia Eagles aren't a team. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Jalen Carter. At that point, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, DeAndre Swift. Don't even get me started on their offensive line. Jordan Mailata, Jason Kelsey was on that team. Lane Johnson. Should I stop or should I keep naming players on that Eagles team who were really good? And if that's the case, how did that wild card game go? That's right. Lost to progressive Baker Mayfield in a wild card game. Also lost their division as well. Both those teams, a lot of star power, didn't work out. Who did the Cowboys lose to? Stable, smart, intuitive Green Bay. Matt LaFleur and company. With a quarterback that everyone saw, not me, but everyone else saw as a bust. Coaching matters in the NFL. So sure, I have massive belief in Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride and company. But I have far more confidence in this team to flip the script because of this coaching staff, because of this front office. Monty Ossenfort has been amazing. Michael Bidwell has made it seem like, at least to the naked eye, he's taken a step back. There's real leadership being run through in the front office. Jonathan Gannon is an adult and not a adult frat boy like Cliff Kingsbury was. There's not a Steve Keim, not very good at evaluating talent GM. The front office, the head coach, that is what sells me on this Cardinals team. More specifically, Jonathan Gannon. Do you know how hard it is as a defensive-minded head coach to make your team not look silly, just not look silly against some of these offensive masterminds like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan and company? And Jonathan Gannon has done that with much less than you think. Do you remember that defense last year? It was atrocious in terms of talent. But somehow, some way, Jonathan Gannon gets more out of less. And that is what will keep this Cardinals team afloat, not just for this year, but for next year. Because contracts run out and talent diminishes over time. What doesn't diminish is leadership, coaching, accountability, and the ability to be able to want to be led by men of a football team who can sniff out beta male tendencies in a heartbeat. Just ask Cliff Kingsbury if that's true. There's no beta in Jonathan Gannon. And it's why this team is going to be better than you think next year, not worse. Let me say that again. That's why this team is going to be better than you think next year, not worse. And it wouldn't shock me if they made it to the playoffs. It wouldn't shock me if they won a game. That's how much stock I have in Jonathan Gannon. I love the players. I love the talent. I think the Cardinals are underrated, but it means nothing if you don't have a head coach that can construct that talent to the ability that they have to be constructed to. And it's why I believe in Jonathan Gannon. It's why I believe in the vision of this Cardinals team. And it's why I believe it's going to be a very fun and entertaining season. Hop on board. It's going to be a good time.